For Indo, the question before the Federation Chamber is that the motion be agreed to, and I give the call to the member for Bennelong.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. One afternoon I found myself listening to Ben Fordham's podcast on 2GB and heard the story of Paul Treffry. Paul was contacted via text message by ANZ and advised that his business account had been compromised, and he just had two options to solve this: to cancel his credit card or to deposit his money into a new account. Paul transferred over $130,000 to a bank account owned by scammers. They had spoofed ANZ's SMS service and contacted customers hoping to trick them out of their hard-earned money. Paul's story is just one of many of victims of scams. And since I've been raising this issue in my capacity on the House Economics Committee, Deputy Speaker, I've heard countless heartbreaking stories of people falling victim to scammers. And I've learnt that anyone can fall victim to these heinous criminals. When the Albanese government came to office, Australians were losing over $3 billion a year to scammers. Online, text message, phone and in-person scams were the main ways that Aussies lost money. And disturbingly, the amount lost to scams had doubled each and every year from 2019 to 2022. We came to government, Deputy Speaker, and we took action. Under this government, we have established the National Anti-Scam Centre. We've rolled out Australia's first SMS sender ID registry to stop spoofing, as Paul was subject to, and we've bolstered the Australian Securities and Investment Commission's capacity to shut down fraudulent websites. The government has made significant inroads, but we know, of course, there's more to do. We came to government with an ambitious, aggressive anti-scam agenda, and the results prove that we are delivering on our commitment to combat scammers. In last year's budget, $86.5 million was invested into some of the programs mentioned earlier. And I've had the opportunity to see how fostering collaboration across industries through the establishment of the National Anti-Scam Centre is vital in combating scams. The necessity for a cohesive approach was particularly highlighted during our discussions in open public hearings with the Big Four banks, where it was apparent that each bank had its own approach to addressing scams. However, the data and experts consistently showed that these disparate strategies were insufficient. It's become clear that industry players must align with regulatory bodies such as the ACCC and ASIC to form a unified front against scams. The collaborative effort is crucial for enhancing the effectiveness of current anti-scam measures and safeguarding consumers' interests. Since July last year, the losses we've seen from scams have started to come down. The National Anti-Scam Centre's recent quarterly report highlighted a 43% reduction in scam losses in the last quarter of 2023 compared to the same period of previous years, signalling a promising trend reversal. However, recognising the evolving nature of scams and cyclical nature of them, the government has committed to introducing stringent new codes outlining the responsibilities of the private sector to deal with scam activities. Banks, telecommunications providers and digital messaging and social media platforms will be required to implement measures to detect, disrupt and prevent scams, underlining a more aggressive stance against these fraudulent activities. Where these essential service providers fall foul of these codes, they will be forced to pay, as they should. Deputy Speaker, while the banks and telcos seemingly are working with the government on this code, it's clear from advice I've received and from discussions I've had that digital and social media platforms are not doing enough. Through their messenger services, they often attract plenty of attention to scammers, and they simply must step up to the challenge we all face. Digital messaging and social media services simply cannot wipe their hands of this responsibility. On telecommunications, the government has pioneered the first SMS ID register. It's been successful and it's an innovative measure to curtail scammers' ability to masquerade as ANZ or Linked or MyGov by falsifying sender IDs. Deputy Speaker, we're taking a number of measures to combat scams seriously. For too long, this was put in the too hard basket, and it's clear that the market has failed to step in where it needs to. Under the leadership of the Assistant Treasurer, we'll put in this code, we'll get some action.